The new LoBo version 6.5 is out. Let's have a look onto the new features of this update. First of all, we have a complete new section called Dunnings. With these new tools, you can create fully customized Dunnings for unpaid invoices. There are two separate tutorial videos on how to define these Dunning levels and on how to create Dunning runs and finally create Dunnings like this one. Next, the most obvious change is the redesigned order dialog. So when you create a new order, you'll find a completely redesigned section of the cost details. With this change, less scrolling is needed if you, for example, have long lists of surcharges. On the other hand, the relevant information is grouped into so-called accordions. So as you see, if I check this express surcharge, the resulting price change is indicated directly in this accordion header. Additionally, as admin of LoBo, you could hide some of this information from specific user groups. So for example, if you don't want to see your couriers the total amount of task or the courier interest, you could hide these components. That leads us to the next feature that we find under View Calculation Products. As mentioned before, you can define for each product if a specific information like the courier interest or the accounting should be hidden from some user groups. Even more specifically, these settings can be overruled per user. So if we switch to the carriers and open one of the carriers, you'll notice that in the user account section, you can overrule the visibility of the courier account for this specific courier. Like this, you can easily handle a mixed setup of employees and subcontractors. In both cases, it doesn't make much sense that they see the total price of the order. However, you might be interested that your subcontractors see at least the carrier interest so that they can decide if they want to accept a certain job or not. Let's move on to the next highlight. Under View Zone Systems, you will find a new module called Zone Stop Graduation. From now on, you can create for each zone compilation a special type of pricing. For example, here I choose the zone compilation Innsbruck 1 that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zones. And what you can do here is define the route price depending on the number of stops separately for each zone. So I set up a pricing for the first stop in each zone. Additionally, I can set up a volume discount if I have, for example, more than 5 stops or drop-offs within this zone A. I also add some pricing for the other zones. And finally, we want to set up another reduction for more than 10 stops. So I've set €2 here for all the zones. So in this example, this basically results in the cost creation where the first 4 stops in zone A cost €6 each. Any additional stops between 5 and 10 cost €4 each. And from 10 on, they cost €2. After you have finished to set up such a zone stop graduation, you can create a new calculation base that's based on this. So you choose the cost by the zone system per stop, choose the appropriate zone compilation, and you're done with setting up the new product pricing. Besides this completely new cost model, you have another flexible option to customize your product pricing. To illustrate that, I'll make a copy of this calculation base and choose to edit it. And what you find here on the left is that you can now set up a price scale per stop. Let's try to represent the situation. We want the first stop to be 5 euros. The second stop 3 euros. Now I'm warned that I have to increase the limits, so from the second stop onwards 3 euros, and from the fifth stop on we want to charge 1 euro. So additionally to the distance-based cost gradation that was set up before, we now can define a price scale depending on the number of stops. Isn't that awesome? At least I like that feature. What else is new? Under View System Mail Settings, you can set up LoBo to use your own SMTP account to send emails to reduce the risk that they are classified as spam. You can get the relevant data to be entered here from your hosting or domain provider. And the next one on our new feature list can be found under View Uses Carriers. From now on, you can define a separate offer delay for each dispatch group. For example, if I set a delay of 2 minutes for the cargo dispatch group, jobs that are offered to both of the groups, bike and cargo, will be offered to the bike group immediately and to all members of the cargo dispatch group with a 2-minute delay. The update introduces plenty of other improvements. Let's go through them very quickly. You will find additional filter options, for example the dispatch group in the task and statistic modules, as well as the group membership of the user in the user modules. We've also enabled the option to offer and dispatch planned orders. Before, that was only possible for actual orders. There are 2 more changes in the order dialog. Products that are limited to certain customers. For example, I will limit this cargo product to the customer group net. These products will show up as the first option when you create a new order for this customer. So by default, the first product is bike, but as soon as I choose GroupNet as the customer, you'll see that cargo is selected as his favorite product. This order also holds true for customers booking online. Another handy improvement for orders with lots of stops is that you can now resize the height of the stops panel, which for example simplifies reordering the stops. The loading speed of long order lists is now drastically increased by an improved caching mechanism. While querying the relevant data could last several seconds before, as we see here, the same page is now loaded almost immediately. And finally, in the mobile version, couriers will now find for each stop a navigate me to icon. And besides this, the update includes more than 20 other small improvements, cosmetics and bug fixes that you can all find in the changelog. Thanks for watching the video, and hear you again soon. Bye.